But these were students at Columbia College, like us. They decided to come and form a gospel choir entitled Children of God, and they'll share their experiences and stories about that specific incident. But if I could start, I'll just start with questions. When you were 19 years old and on Columbia College campus, what would you tell yourself then? We're not going to go through everyone, but if someone wanted to, get the microphone and just start that conversation about what would you tell your 19-year-old self?
Okay. My name's Ellen Miller. That was my name then. It's Ellen Miller Matt now. We all came from all points across the country. The wonderful recruiters from Columbia College visited our schools. I think we all had very similar experiences with the recruiters seeking us out in inviting us to come to this wonderful college. At that time, it was in transition from being Christian college and becoming Columbia College. And for me, it was an interesting possibility, being African American, coming from Cincinnati, Ohio, and the prospect of coming across half the country to the middle of the United States, to Missouri, to the middle of Missouri. During a time when there was a lot of turmoil in the country, towards the end of the Vietnam War, there was a lot of civil unrest, a lot of racial unrest. And coming from a family that were activists for civil rights and really not knowing what to expect, I was terrified. My mother told me to be prepared, but to be good. Get your education, girl, don't come home without that degree. But to do what she expected me to do. And I thought I'd be the only one here. The spot in the crowd. And coming to campus that day, my mom and stepfather drove us out. And I lived in Miller Hall. Orientation was terrifying. There was no help. Until I walked into Delaney Hall. There were white linen tablecloths. At my high school, we didn't have that. My entire senior class was larger than the entire student body here. And I walked into that Delaney Hall and I was amazed, number one. And then I began to realize I was not the only one, but there were a few. I could count on my one hand at that time. Angela here and her roommate Katrina were suite mates of mine at Miller Hall. I had a white roommate. I was surprised. Her last name was Lightfoot. I thought she was going to be an American Indian. I was happy about that. She was really cool though. She and I were both artists. And there was a piano very similar to this in Delaney Hall. And this lady was sitting there playing. It felt like home. She was playing gospel music. And I thought, there's a friend that I didn't know at first, and that made me feel good. And as we began to meet one another, it was around that piano and around the comfort of gospel music. And I'll let everyone else tell their experience, but that started the home feeling and knowing that there's comfort in our numbers.
Amen.
We helped each other through the experience.
Yes.
Now, I don't want to paint an ugly picture because Columbia College administration helped us feel comfortable here. We didn't have any fear, but we knew not to venture out too much. Because in these hallowed walls, we felt safe. And we felt welcomed. It wasn't easy, but we felt welcome. And we did matriculate. We got our degrees. We earned our associate degrees. And many of us went on to become a member of that first graduating class, 1975. I was one. And I felt good about it. We'll talk more about that later. Anyone else?
When we got here, I'm from California. What am I doing going to Columbia College? Actually, I was scheduled to go to another school, but at that time, as Ellen mentioned, there was a recruiter who came And then we got a letter saying that if you come, there's student aid, there's scholarship, there's dean's list, and there are other opportunities for you. And I thought, I think I better check this out. So ended up at Columbia College. Now, Ellen mentioned that it was Christian college, and in transition from Christian college to Columbia College, at the time, of course, 2-year finishing school for girls. That's where the white tablecloths and the person carving would be on the plate, and I was like, whoa, where am I? It was quite an experience. When we got here, it was customary for ladies, if they were going to the city, to dress in gloves and a dress. It makes me sound old, but that was just early 70s, okay? But along the way, that was relaxed, and so it switched from a 2-year finishing school for girls to a 4-year co-ed. And at that time, Dr. Merrill Hill, who was very progressive in his thinking, moved this institution forward. He had us to come. Now, I don't know if it was because financial aid was available, and according to the financial aid, there needed to be, we call it diversification now, or integration then. But we came, and it was truly a miracle the way each one of us actually got here. We felt like we were handpicked once we got together. Because even for the last 50 years, we've stayed somewhat in touch with each other. We haven't seen each other many times. Sometimes I would visit a few, but we really haven't seen, but we haven't missed a beat. 50 years ago. 50 years ago. I remember that we used to watch individuals, the Alumni Association, people would come and some would be hobbling on canes and we would see them. We're there now. But we're blessed. We are so blessed to be here and to be able to share in this experience. And it's like we haven't missed a beat. We did get together because this young woman here, Peggy Bland, and she'll give her story about entering a contest. And so, since we were singing around the piano, we were asked, I think Boo, raise your hand. I think Boo suggested, well, why don't we back up Peggy while she does the recitation that you heard. Isn't she as fantastic today as she was years ago?
My name is Melba Small, but everybody calls me Boo. If anybody calls me Boo, you have to know that they've known me 50 years plus, all right? But here we are. When we came to this campus, we were 17 years old. And now I'm getting ready to be 68. Okay, look good, Dom. Oh boy, that's just my sense of humor. But I came from Memphis, Tennessee, and I didn't know where Missouri was. But I was going to go to Tennessee State University. I came home from school, and this man was sitting in my living room with my mom, and she's grinning from ear to ear, okay? First of all, and no offense to you, I'm going to say it like I felt it. What is this white man doing in my living room? And my mama said, baby, this is Amzie Barber from Columbia College in Columbia, Missouri. I'm like, okay, well, I'm thinking, I didn't say it, but I'm like, what do you want? You know, what does he want? And so he talked and he gave really very endearing pitch. He had cameras set up in my mama's house and all kind of literature, and I guess he said the magic words to my mama, because here I am, okay, here I was. I'm like, oh my God. And when I got here, I have to be very honest, I grew up in an all-black neighborhood, all-black school, all-black church. Every business was black-owned. And then I came on campus, I was like, oh my God. What am I gonna do? My mama said, you're going to keep your mouth closed and you're gonna get your education. But on the real side, these people are my family. They couldn't be any closer to me or mean any more to me if my mama had them, okay? We didn't have all this. This gym was raggedy as a sauerkraut. This gym was raggedy. It was one light back there and one back here. That's about it. A basketball goal and a basketball goal. There was nothing else, and if you leaned on these rails too much, you was on the ground, okay? That's what we had. And as we were driving around, I'm looking at all these buildings. I'm like, we didn't have all of this. None of this was here for us. We didn't have all the organizations to help, except for the administration and us. And when we began to sing, the word just got around town. We probably sang at every church here in Columbia. We didn't want them to take a collection for us. We wanted to eat. just feed us and we'll be happy. But I just want to say to the students that are here right now, you guys, oh my God, this campus is beautiful. I hope you take advantage of it. It's gorgeous. I am very, very impressed. But there will never be another group of people like these sitting up here. 50 years. 50 years and we're still singing. So I'll be talking to you if you wish. Any questions, I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic. But this is home for me, and I appreciate you all taking the time to come and be with us today. God bless you all.
I want to introduce Mr. Terry Lane. Please come up.
Yes.
Who was the first black student body president back in the 70s.
Thank you very much. Like they said, I was the student body president. And what I want to talk about is, before there was the term allies, I want to tell you about allies. A gentleman by the name of Merle Hill, you may know that name, so. He was an ally, but he was a tough man. He was going to have things his way, but he had absolutely no problem with you doing what you needed to do. This lady right here, Deborah Scott, and a gentleman by the name of Keith Haven Holiday. We were sitting around, just sitting around the year before, and we said, why don't we just take over the student government? Understand, that was not necessarily an easy task since there was us and them. But it was a good environment. My vice president candidate, Bill Bluebird, was another ally. He and I are walking down the halls. All of a sudden, we're passing the president's office, and President Hill comes out and says, Bill, Terry, come on in for a second. Yes, sir. We cruise into his office, and he says, I see what you're doing. You're doing a fine job. Keep it up. That was impressive to me because here's a man who's sitting in the middle of Missouri. I can imagine what his board is feeling like. I can imagine what the conversations he's having with certain people who provide significant donations. I can imagine all the stuff that's going on in his world. And rather than block something that's going to give him even more headaches, He said, keep it up, good work. Don't mistake that for saying that this was a perfect location and a perfect good time. But it absolutely was his help, people like Bill Lubert, people like Polly Batterson, which that made it possible for us to be the successes that we are from the things that we learned here, from the people that we associated with here. And we will always appreciate that.
Yes.
Always. There's another gentleman here who has an experience not like mine, but similar. He came to us from the Air Force. That would be David.
I came, as Terry said, from the Air Force. I was on active duty station in Omaha, Nebraska, at Offutt Air Force Base, just down the road. By that time, I had accumulated enough credits that only need 1 year to graduate. So I heard about Columbia College, and they'd been a military-friendly school. So I said, well, change of scenery, so I think I'll check out Columbia College. I arrived here in fall of 1974, and to me, it's basically just an extension of what I already experienced, being in the Air Force, having traveled by that time quite extensively, domestically and internationally. So the environment, I felt right at home. Wasn't a big change. I mean, I've been around people from all walks of life, nationalities, creeds, colors, etc. So I felt right at home and at ease. For that year, 1974, until I graduated in 1975, like I said, it was just an extension of my experience to that point in the Air Force. But what Columbia College provided for me was a stepping stone in my professional career. When I graduated in 1975, I immediately went right back to active duty in Omaha. I applied for officer training school. I was accepted in 1976, got my commission in 1977. Fast forward 30 years, I retired in 06. Those don't know that, that's a full colonel in the Air Force. For those that are affiliated with the military, if you're here on scholarship or whatever, I say continue your pursuits, as we say in the Air Force, aim high, and be all you can be. So, thank you.
I'm Deborah Scott. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I had a little bit different background in that I had attended Catholic schools from K through 12. So in high school in Kansas City, I was in a majority white situation. So coming here, the shock was I now had to really live in the same dorm with people that I went to school with. But I want to go back to Terry. When we gathered, Keith and I were under Polly Batterson's mentorship, and because we were history government majors, that's what they called it then, history government. And so we always thought political. And we, like you said, we were sitting around talking, and it was like, you know, the band, they would have dances here, the band was like, oh God. And so, well, it wasn't exactly music that we grew up with. Let's put it that way. Music that we grew up with. So we said, well, the only way we're going to influence what happens is if we participate in student government and get involved in student government and the various activities. So we sat down and we prepared a whole slate of folks to run for student government, for class president, and etc. We gathered the students together, everybody agreed, and then Keith and I decided we better talk to Dr. Hill. So we made an appointment, and I was a RA in Missouri Hall. I was probably the first, the first African American RA, and so we went in and we sat down with Dr. Hill, and we explained to him the plan and the strategy, and Dr. Hill was like, okay. And, you know, we explained to him that we didn't want to, we're not trying to have a militant takeover, a sit-in, or, you know, anything of that nature, that we were open and wanted to work with the administration on anything, any program, anything. I said, okay. And he said, he leaned back in his chair and he said, I just want to say, y'all got a lot of nerve. And if they, meaning the majority, let you do it, so be it. We won every single major office. Now, Ella was a class president, and some others were in different positions. Some are not here, Val Watkins and et cetera. So it was an experience. We stayed involved after that 1 year takeover and graduated. I graduated from here in '76 with a history government degree. My first, I gotta say this and then I'm gonna turn it over. My first airplane ride was with Polly Patterson and Diane, last name I forgot, Berry. Diane Berry, she was a history teacher. Took a group of students to DC. And that was the first time I ever got on an airplane. Because our family vacations, you got in the car. And you drove to California. You drove to New Orleans. You drove. So that was my first plane ride. And I have pictures from that trip to DC. And now I teach political science at the Metropolitan Community College in Kansas City. And my goal before I retire is to take some students to Washington, D.C. So I
I'm going to try to answer your question, but I'll say to myself, when I got here in '73 and graduated in '75, I did not realize I was going to, as of today, did not realize I was standing right behind the groundbreakers. And I walked in, I'm a shy person. I remember coming to the campus. First I was also recruited. I came from Kansas City, Missouri, very middle, very urban, even the ghetto is what they kind of called it. And so I had a recruiter in my high school in my senior year and come to talk to me about Columbia College. They, again, offered some tuition and assistance and things like that. So I ended up spending a lot of time sitting at the front desk reading. I worked in the office on Saturdays to get my 2-year degree because I left and graduated my 2-year degree without any bills left over. So that's why I do not make that. That was all I needed. I was a waterfall. And all these people, like I said, they were before me. They welcomed me in. And I was still quiet, but I was invited to join Children of God choir. I couldn't sing. I was never in a choir. But they still encouraged me to put up with me. Like today, keep practicing. And I knew that one time, there was my roommate, Yolanda. She won the contest for Miss Columbia, And of course I wasn't gonna win a contest, but I opened up a little bit. I even competed later, and Angela helped me sing. Actually, she helped me practice singing a song. I was going through laryngitis because I sinuses and everything, so I had lost my voice while we were practicing. But I stood up and sang in front of people. So I was a wallflower. They welcomed me. I felt welcomed. I did not feel the alienation that they felt. I never left home. I lived on the campus, and all of them were here. And as I look at all their faces and all the old pictures, I said, I know all of them. So that's how I would tell myself, it'll be okay. You're going to be family. You're not going to be alone. You're going to be taken care of. The world is changing. You're going to be safe. Right? Safe here and otherwise. I didn't tell you my name. My name is Carol. I was Carol Allen. I'm Carol Lane, and the president was later be my husband, Terry Lane.
So you all have heard some of our stories, and one thing is in common, that we all have in common, is we appreciate having come to Columbia College. We all gained a lot from Columbia College. We all have moved on to professional careers, and we learned and gained a great foundation here. And because of that, we, in our conversations over the last several months, knowing that we were coming here, decided that there are students here that have the same concerns about making it through. The students have everything that they need in their head to get the academics and complete their degrees. But sometimes finances can get in the way. And that can be a distraction. So we came up with the idea through Ms. Celestine Beverly. She and her sister came to Columbia College at the same time when we all came. And she said, we need to help somebody. And we decided to leave a legacy. We came up with the African American Legacy Award of Excellence. And we wanted to leave our mark. I'm going to read to you and to all of you what we decided to do. And forgive me, I'm a little hoarse today. And I have a little vision issue. Aging eyes. About the African American Legacy Award of Excellence. This award is in acknowledgement of the original African American students who first arrived on the campus of Christian College during its transition in the early 1970s to Columbia College and officially in 1971. This imposing group of students integrated the student body of Columbia College, laying the foundation of excellence, love, and support for all students of color throughout their matriculation. On the 50th year anniversary from their arrival in August of 1971, the group celebrates their lifelong friendships born at Columbia College and pays tribute to the academic opportunities, specific subject knowledge, mental and interpersonal skills, and some lifelong lessons imparted by the college, imparted by the college experience, providing the foundation for a successful life 50 years later. African American students are still challenged to maintain academic excellence while meeting the financial demands of college expenses. Preference will be given to rising sophomore, junior, or senior African American student, a student demonstrating financial need, and must be a full-time day student on campus. In recognition, the donors gives the college permission to recognize and publicly acknowledge this gift. The initial award, which we are going to present today, is in memory of Mr. Hayden Keith Holliday and in honor of a living classmate who were among the first African American students who integrated Columbia College in 1971. Each year, the award will remember one or more of our deceased founders and honor one or more of our living heroes. The fund steward, and I won't go into the rest of the details, but I do want to recognize our living hero today, and she would be Ms. Angela Montgomery Temple. Still receiving donations from among our family and friends, and anyone here who would like to be among our donors, we welcome you. Today's gift, today as a still, Steenie and Bill. As of today, we have raised $8,350. And hopefully there is a student or students who will be able to complete this year and meet whatever financial need they can call out from Dr. Wilson. And we thank you all for any gift that is forthcoming from your hearts for an African American student or students in financial need here at Columbia College. Thank you, Steenie, for your brainstorm, for you and Melinda. And thank you, Angela. And we thank our Keith in heaven.
Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you for being here today. Your home, this will always be your home. I've been with Columbia College 10 years now, and this is by far the most meaningful event that I've ever been to. So thank you. Thank you for everything that you've done and for having a legacy moving forward, and your generosity. I just can't tell you how much that means to me personally. I hope to get to know each of you individually as friends and welcome you back anytime, and I hope you thoroughly enjoy your time while you're here. And if there's anything we can do to make you more comfortable, please do let us know. But thank you for your generosity.
One more thing I would like to say about this wonderful woman and why she is our first living hero that we are honoring. I mentioned earlier that our first time on campus, it was challenging for many of us. We survived it through our song. We survived it through humor. And sometimes when we get a little bit rambunctious, this is the person who settled us down. And she earned the moniker of Mother Mom. She's still Mother Mom. So that's why we wanted to show Angie our love for our home.
I will say very briefly, words cannot convey what this group means to me. As everyone has said, this institution laid the foundation for who you see. We talked last night about what we're doing, and we couldn't tell the whole story. But everyone up here, and those that are in the audience, that foundation paved the way and launched each of us into our careers. Some of us are entrepreneurs, we work for government, work for institutions of higher education. But all in all, if we were to define success, it would be what we started here and what we were launched into. And to that, we will be forever grateful for this opportunity. And I thank you all for this. This is such an honor. And I thank my cousin who drove from Memphis on her way to the East Coast. She came this way, and Velma Montgomery, Womack, and Pat Solomon. Thank you, and thank each one of you for being here. This is such a special occasion. Love you all. Love you.